With pitchers and catchers reporting in less than 2 months at this point, the Yankees are starting to get a little bit of clarity on what their thought process is at the shortstop position. What's going on, guys? The King of 161st Street. I'm back with another video when Michael Kay had an interesting story that he told to the Yes Crew.
I heard a story about Volpe from the dad that really tells you about his mindset. So he gets back from a long minor league season. He goes AA and AAA, and his dad convinces him, Anthony, give your body a month. Just let it reset. Don't keep pushing yourself. He said, you're right, Dad, I will. And then he got a phone call from Brian Cashman, and Brian told him, you have a chance at this job, the way you perform in spring training. Just want you to know. And the father said the next morning at like 5:30 in the morning, here's the garage door. And then the son drives away, and he calls him in the car. He said, Anthony, what are you doing? He goes, going to work out. He goes, I thought you were going to give the body a month. Nope. Nah, I got a chance to win this job. And then he also went down to Tampa right away to go to work. This guy wants this. This is important for him. Yankee fan since birth. He's almost got a little of that Jeter maniacal, focus to him. Jeter only wanted to be a Yankee shortstop. So does Volpe. Now, obviously, Peraza, I think, has the inside track because he did play some in the big leagues. But I wouldn't bet against Anthony Volpe at this point.
And the main thing he says in this story is Volpe has a chance to win the starting spot. Something that you heard Jack Curry said was not on his radar. You sort of thought that, prospect manipulation could come into play here. Don't ever take that off the table, but when Brian Cashman tells him, hey, you have a chance to be the starter here, that's some big shit, right? So what will this lineup look like if Volpe's there? So we all expect that they're not going to part ways with Donaldson until the very last moment. Brian Cashman, like I've said before, is an egotistical asshole. He will always try and prove that he is correct no matter what. Sorta was the downfall of last year, but I digress. Mainly, that means I do not see Peraza and Volpe playing together. I think, really, this shortstop spot is going to come down to Peraza and Volpe. Peraza has the edge right now, like they said, because he is a major leaguer already. He's already come through the system, and he's already made it to the spot. He played in an ALCS, for crying out loud. Peraza probably has the edge here. But if we're thinking about it, how many shortstops have the Yankees passed up on because of this kid? So let's count them out. They've passed up on Correa. They've passed up on Trey Turner. They've passed up on Gene Segura. All these guys that are world class. They passed up on Semien. They passed up on Seager. They passed up on a ton of guys. And their thought was, Volpe's our guy. We have Volpe and Peraza, and we trust them to make it that far. Let's prove it, because at this point, Yankees fans need to see results here with these prospects. Especially because now you have an opportunity to get Brian Reynolds. Doesn't look like they're going to pull the trigger, which means, and hear me out here, I expect by All-Star break that our 4 big prospects are making it to the majors. What do I mean by 4 big? And I'm including Cabrera into this because there's no way he's going back down to the minors. He's just too valuable. So really, it's a big 3 that are coming up. And that would be Peraza, Volpe, Dominguez. All 3 of them I expect to be in the majors by the second half next year. I think Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe are in the same spot of the minor league. Jason Dominguez looks to be an absolute force. And look, we love Cabrera, but Cabrera's upside to me, and this is not a knock against him. The league needs a lot of these guys. They are not dime a dozen. These guys are very rare to come by. But I think Cabrera's sort of peak is a guy that any team will take because he can play anywhere on the field. I do not think he is a star infielder or star outfielder for any team in his career. I just don't see that as his upside. I could be wrong about that, But Jason Dominguez, on the other hand, we signed him when he was 16 years old. And at that point, he had the comparisons of the Mike Trouts, of the Mickey Mantles. This guy is off the charts in every single category. He is a 5-tool stud, and I expect him to be up. If that left field spot starts to get shaky, I expect him to be up in the majors playing left field, along with Bader and Judge. This has a chance to be a youth movement along with this high-powered offense, because then you would think, right, there is a chance that we could play 4 technical rookies. You could do a lineup, especially if these rumors about Torres is true, where you could play literally Cabrera at second, Volpe at short, Peraza at third, you can intertwine them, and Dominguez in left, along with the powerhouse of Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Bader. And then Trevino. There's an opportunity that lineup could exist in 2023. Now, how much do you love that lineup? I'll leave that up to you. But to me, I am very excited because these guys were known as these top prospects for a while now. We've passed up on so many free agents, and it was all because of them. They were the hope of this franchise. Volpe looks like, to Brian Cashman and George Steinbrenner, he looks like the next Jeter, right? It's time for these prospects to prove it. They're all at a stage where they can elevate to the major leagues. It's time for them to show us what they're made of. And I can't wait to see what they do in the major leagues. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. If you're new here, hit that sub button. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.